How should I start this film? Hello? What? Sure, that sounds fun. I don't know how that could go wrong at all. That was probably the most impulsive decision I've ever made. You see, on the other end of the line was my buddy Jens. He's a very adventurous type that has done multiple hikes in his life. One of them was from Antwerp, Belgium, all the way to Santiago de Compostela in Spain. And during this 99 days of hiking, he learned about another hike, the GR20. And he was still looking for someone to join him. Sure, that sounds fun. Afterwards, I looked up what the GR20 actually was.
GR20 stands for Grand Randonnée, a network of long-distance walking tracks across Europe. Each trail is numbered and GR20 is considered the toughest of them all.
Donc eux, ils ont exprimé un tir de survie, ils ont eu leur consigne de l'agiter et puis ils sont habillés en jaune.
Et c'est très difficile même par beau temps. Donc là, vraisemblablement, ils ont été pris par un orage.
But there was no turning back. I cleaned up my old hiking shoes, I filled my backpack, that was about 15 kilos, and went to Jens. We jumped into his car and headed to Corsica. On our way, we picked up a lonely traveler called Baptiste, and Baptiste used our cookies as a pillow. Our paths split at Mont Blanc. Jens and I took a lift to the mountain peak and continued to Corsica. Jens parked the car, we picked up our bag and started hiking. You know how some people suggest that hiking gives you the time to think about life? Well, it doesn't. It goes from, wow, beautiful nature, perfect weather, to, wow, this backpack is quite heavy, I hope we get there soon. And it eventually becomes, I feel horrible, this place is horrible, and everyone around me is also horrible. This transformation took me about an hour, but I pushed through because my motivation gradually faded even more. And then there was a wonderful moment, an absolute masterpiece of sadness, my low point at about 1.7 kilometers high. I know, ironic, isn't it? An overwhelming feeling of sadness. All of a sudden I saw myself as the person I really am. A loser, an untalented dweeb who could never accomplish anything in life. Why would anyone hang out with a fraud who even lies to himself about being able to complete this stupid hike? Old people manage to do this. Children. A guy even ran this damn thing. The dog yesterday at the campsite, even he would make it further. But I simply can't. A dog lost track of his owner. You could say that he had no roof over his head. Along his lonely journey, he comes across multiple obstacles. Most recently, a group of goats that didn't let him pass. A human tried to scare the goats away, but it was of no use. The goats attacked the dog and the dog ran away in a different direction. Never has he felt so alone. He met another human a bit further, and this human looked even more miserable than him. Well, because it was me. I let the dog drink out of my hand palm and gave him a piece of my cereal bar. I continued hiking and the dog joined me. We caught up with Jens, and since the dog was afraid of them, Jens and I scared a group of goats away. After that, the dog kept following us around. We called the dog Baptiste, named after the lonely traveler we gave a ride to the Mont Blanc. We started to make great progress with Baptiste around. All of a sudden, I had a reason to continue, because Baptiste, well, he needed us. Well, he didn't say that, but it's a dog, so I assume he needed us. From that moment, everything went uphill. You could say that literally, because the Corsican mountains got bigger every day and the trail became way more difficult. But most important, the weather started to change. You see, Corsica is an island in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea. And the very hot weather causes water from the seas to evaporate, making the dry air moist. Let's say more wet air. Air currents push the more wet air towards the mountain range of Corsica. And since nothing can beat rock, well, except for paper, of course, the more wet air gets compressed to even more wet air, forming clouds and eventually... Come on, boy! Bad idea. The sudden weather changes take many people by surprise, making the already difficult paths slippery as well. Starting the day early was the best option to avoid weather like this. Success not guaranteed.
Wow, hoe hard waait dat? Dat is wel echt graaf. Dat is vreemd.
One of the people we met was an owner of the campsite, and that was the first time since ages Baptiste got a proper meal as well as a warm blanket in front of the stove. Jens and I had to face a heartbreaking truth. We can't take Baptiste home with us. This is where he belongs. The next day we left without Baptiste. I honestly wished that he kept following us, but it had to be this way. We helped him find a new home, but actually it was him helping me through a rough time. During the next part, I really began to enjoy hiking. I started to appreciate the beautiful nature. Sometimes it even felt like Baptiste was still with us. The final obstacle we had to overcome was a big one. I would even say mountain-sized. The biggest mountain of Corsica, the Monte Cinto. It was 2.7 kilometers high. And by far the most difficult part of the entire trail. I took a look back to the mountains I had to overcome, and guess what? These didn't seem so big anymore. We made it. The final days at the GR20 flew by, and after 13 days of hiking, we reached the final destination of arguably the most difficult hike of Europe. I just want to leave you with this. The GR20 became a meaningful place to me. A place where you say hello to people and say goodbye to friends. Now everyone experiences an adventure like this differently. Some people say that we need to appreciate the small things in life. And others say that the fact that we live on an amazing planet and we should take care of it. So please, please don't throw your trash across the street. Yes, David, I'm talking to you. Buy proper garbage bags. Not the point I was trying to make, but there you have it. And almost everyone you meet during an adventure like this gives you a piece of advice. And here is mine. It was a wonderful journey that I do recommend to everyone. But let's face it, I wasn't prepared for this. So please, please, think twice when the phone rings. Hello? Huh? Ice fishing? Sure, that sounds fun!